Is it Brits? Soko ni chafu.
Kiatu number 4. Lakini wewe ni mguu wako number 8. Naingiza tu, tunapima.
Jo, alafu mwenye duka hadi akatai upime.
Bali tu. Kiatu.
Kama ujelewa hiyo clip. That clip is not about kupima kiatu. Na kama uelewi vizuri, acha nikwambie kwa nini soko ni chafu.
Nairobi soko ni chafu sana. Wewe ni huyu bestie. You are the lady here. This is your husband. Sawa. And this is your husband. Sindio? Huyu ni benten wako. Sawa. Benten wako akona kadem kake. Sawa. Haya, turudi kwa bwana yako. Bwana yako akona side chick mwenye wanafanyanga na yeye job. Pale job kwao. Sawa, wale mabibi wa kazi akona yeye hapo. Huyu bibi wake wa kazi si akona bwana yake. Sawa. Haya, turudi hii side yako. Tumesema benten wako akona kadem kake. Aka kadem kake kakona sponsor. Sawa. Huyu sponsor akona bibi. Turudi tena hii side nyingine ya bwana yako. Tumesema huyu ni bwana yako, huyu ni side chick. Huyu ni bwana yako, huyu ni side chick wake, sawa, wa kazi. Na huyu side chick wake akona bwana yake. Sawa, huyu bwana wake ni wa LGBTQ, akona jamaa wake hapa. Sawa. Huyu jamaa wa LGBTQ juu sio main, akona pia mwingine wa LGBTQ hapo. And the cycle goes on and on. Hapa Nairobi watu wanachustiana sana, hawatumii CD, si ndio? Hawatumii raba, si ndio? And then you wonder kwa nini high percentage ya hii kitu inasonga sana. This is only the list that you can see. There are so many back here. Wewe bado uko na yule ex wako amjawahi achana, bado huyo unapatana na yeye. Haya, your husband anakula yule msichana wako hapo wa kazi, si ndio? Huyo pia ako na mwingine hapo kando. Haya, hapa huyu si ni yule side chick wake wa hapo job kwao. Ako na sponsor wake pia mahali. And the cycle goes on and you guys are not using condoms. And then you wonder, why am I getting infections all the time? This time itakuwa ni STD. This time ni yako kaist. Next time utaenda waambie we are sorry but you have HIV. Make sure you get checked every 3 months. December 1st ilikuwa ni siku ya kwenda kuangaliwa kama uko nayo. Ulienda bestie. Nairobi.
God damn it bro. Hiyo video ina reveal a lot of things. The major thing yenye unaweza point out hapo hivyo ni a lack of commitment. And that's what we are about to talk about. Hey, god damn it. How do I say that? That's what we are going to talk about in this video. The lack of commitment and the commitment that you are actually supposed to put. Most people, they are going to say that this is cheating. Others watakwambia hii ni exercising options my guy. Tamenye mimi sikuwa na kakitu, sikuwaga na hizi options, so right now lazima ni make sure nimegonga kwote before ni settle. Wengine walisha settle but they sit down and they realize, hey, I actually need to do some of the things that I never got to enjoy. That points out to the victory of the Matrix. Matrix manze imeshika watu design nyingine. Na naweza sema Matrix msee mwingine akwe like, oh, this is just stories of wokeness. Hii yote ni story ya commitment. Na kama amini, check this other video out on why men actually cheat.
Why men have side chicks and the truth men won't admit and women don't understand. Where do I even start? Men don't have side chicks because they necessarily found somebody better. They don't do it because they've stopped loving their women. They do it because they've stopped loving the version of themselves that they have become. A man chooses a wife to show the world that he is respectable, stable, responsible, man who does everything right? But the side chick, she's not competition.
Adventure.
She's not the upgrade. She is the mirror where he sees the version of himself that he lost. That version matters because every man loses himself at some point in his life. The aggressive hunter, the man who chased, the man who felt desired, the man who felt free, the man who felt admired, the man who felt powerful, the man who wasn't buried under responsibility, pressure, and expectations. Marriage, fatherhood, life, they turn men into machines, providers, problem solvers, quiet warriors who carry everything on their backs.
Of course, like for a man, you understand that it is the commitment that makes you valuable in the society that you are living in. Without these forms of commitments, you will figure out that you are always wondering na ujui ni wapi unaenda. Either is it commitment to a certain skill that umevisha kila mtu anakujua nayo, but you will even after getting these skills, you will realize that if you want to get into other bigger tables to eat at, you will need these forms of commitment. These stories are you actually need to have a wife maybe to run the country. You need to have a wife to run for a member of parliament. Most of the jobs zenye ziko huku hivi nje zenye ni zinachukuliwa like high value, they need you to prove a form of commitment. Kwa sababu hiyo inaonyesha you are more focused on putting in the work. Kwa sababu msee mwenye ananga hizi forms of commitment akipewa kazi, most people watasema anaweza achana tu nayo anytime, ndio aende chase dreams zake, aendelee kufocus on him being ama her being free. Unanipata?
Every single day. And somewhere in that grind, he loses the wild part of himself, the confident part, the masculine part, the part that felt alive. The side chick doesn't give him love. She gives him oxygen. She makes him feel like the man he used to be or the man he thinks he used to be. This is why men do not cheat for emotional connection. They cheat for identity, for ego, for validation, for the feeling of being wanted without any effort. It's also a delusion of freedom. A man wants the stability of a wife and the thrill of a mistress because he's too weak to choose who he really is. Side chicks are not special. They're symbolic. She doesn't replace the wife. She replaces the man he never fully grew into. Big difference. But there's a darker truth. Men who cheat aren't running toward another woman. They're running away from the man that they became. And instead of fixing what broke them inside, they look for somebody who makes them forget. Why do men have side chicks? Because they want to feel powerful again, desired again, young again, unburdened again, and seen again. Because they miss the man that they lost and they don't know how to get him back. That's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Why men have side chicks and the truth.
To some extent, this chick is actually speaking the truth. But you can also think about it like this. Instead of this man actually... Before I tell you that other part. One thing I've realized about commitment is commitment pushes you towards boundaries that you never thought you could actually get at. Unajipata sometimes uko like for instance, let me say me creating these YouTube videos. Najipata sometime na question my life. Imeturn into what? Because it has completely taken a different route. As I start asking myself, have I really lost myself? Like, have I really lost the person within me that used to be this outgoing guy, that used to be this guy that was always out in parties? Then, najiambia, there's this other part that I have created that I actually like. And it is a form where I am trying to share the wisdom that I have gathered because of this path that I have chosen. And as I am walking through this path, commitment ndio kitu moja ninafanya na focus on the things that I am doing. So there is that contradiction between have I really lost the identity that I have, and is whatever I'm doing really impactful? Of course, hii kitu inakuwaga like an exponential curve. Ukianzanga lazima kukuwage na hiyo unangi that much difference. Unaonanga tu like everything is just the same, nothing is really changing. But the more you do it, like with time, just like an investment that has compounding interest, the more you will start seeing the benefits. And since you are just in the initial phase ya kufanya hii kitu yote, ya kufanya hii form of commitment, ndio unapatanga unaanza kupata some form of doubt ama fear. Na hivyo ndio I think Christians watasema hapo sasa ndio the devil is trying to tempt you, because most of these marriages unapatanga mtu amecommit the moment ameanza kurealize kuko na hiyo difference ya anaji question who am I becoming and who was I, ndio anaanza ku create these forms of cheating. Aya, other than understanding that, kuna this other part yenye instead of you being somebody else, unaambiwa just be yourself and do the things that you actually like, the things that are you, the things that will not make you become somebody who is totally different. When you're looking for a woman, pick a woman that is going to take you for you, not the you version that likes to lead with the ego. Kwa sababu hauwezi enda ku-create relationship yenye inakuwaga hapo hivyo kejani with the ego. You always have to sit down and understand your partner's perspective as well. Because if you don't do that, then inakuwaga ni noma. Napata hapo sasa ndio issue tena inatokea, unaanza kujiuliza even more serious questions kama hiyo yenye have I really completely changed? But what do I know? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. At this point, these are just my thoughts about history yote. Question yenye dai kukuuliza unijibu ni, has responsibility and commitment ever made you feel like you've become somebody totally different? Has it ever made you feel like you are missing out on something? If you have, or if you have not, ama if you have and you have gotten through it, let me know down in the comments below bana. You can also enlighten some other people who are also watching. Na ndio ujue sasa soko ni chafu, commitment ya mademi imekuwa even more terrible. You know why? Because of these things known as machines of pleasure. Machines of pleasure ni either our mabenten ama these machines of pleasure zenye tunazijua hizo zinakaa roses, zingine zinakaa kivitu mse, those machines of pleasure have actually removed commitment from the mentality of women. Na tunajuanga most of the time women make emotional decisions. That's why it's always better for a woman to have some form of male role models ama male mentors around her when yuko really interested in getting her box. Au ndio wase wanamsaidianga anakuwa na a very clear perspective. Ama if it's the person who actually is getting the box, anafaa put in the work to actually transform this girl. That is if the girl is willing to be led. So even ndio madem wanajaribu kusema wamekuwa hawana mambo mingi siku hizi kwa streets. To somebody, hii inaweza kaa ni kama it's just a normal content. But to some other people, this is an outcry for the lack of intimacy. This is an outcry for creating loneliness in the society. Sindio? If you don't think that's the case, let me know maoni yako ni gani, kwa sababu Easter inaonyesha a completely lack of commitment. Because to create relationship where you get intimate with someone to the point that they actually make you feel good, almost like these machines, that is the one thing that actually matters when it comes to creating a relationship. But who am I to know all these things? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Kwa sababu sana on our next video inaweza kuwa a little bit longer. Na that's what we are going to react to next. Make sure you check also this video out. Acha niwapatie snippet ya kenye tunaenda kureact.
I am just coming back home from a date, and let me tell you, the men up here, hakuna akili. Niko kwa kitanda nimechoka tu. So there's this guy I've been talking to.
You see, ameshaanza hiyo conversation aje na the men don't have a certain mindset. So let me see you guys on the next video to break this, as we break down and comment on this video, because it's a very lengthy video. Other than that,
when a man finally makes it, the loudest voice in the room is often the one saying, but she was there with you when you had nothing. But here's the question no one really asks. What was she doing while she was there? Being present and being a partner are not the same thing. A lot of women didn't build. They didn't plan. They didn't pray. They didn't push. They didn't invest, inspire, or even try to understand the vision. All they did was stay. They sat beside the grind, but they didn't carry any weight. They stood next to the dream, but they never added a single brick. These kind of women were simply there. And they were there waiting like a hawk, waiting like an eagle, waiting like a vulture, waiting for the day they could say, I was around before the success.
Wow.
As if proximity alone deserves a prize. Existence by itself is not effort. And being in the same room is not the same as helping to build the house. When a man evolves and that man chooses a partner who actually matches his growth instead of merely witnessing it, my brother, that's not betrayal. People must learn to stop confusing endurance with effort. If she didn't build anything with you, she's not entitled to anything from you. And the key word is entitled. And please don't come in the comments talking about the outliers and children. And we're not talking about that. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So stop trying to warp my words to fit your narrative. When a man finally makes it,
True. Hapo hivyo mwisho. Ikifikanga kwa hizi stories za commitment, the thing that women actually will go towards is the thing that, oh, I was emotionally there, I had to push out children. Then she forgets that it is not always about pushing out the child. It is about kulea umtoi, because you know that when you actually come together and create these forms of families, it is never about who actually did the hard part, like pushing out the child. It is always about creating your future generation. Unafaa umesha accept that your life has gotten to a point that you are willing now to start somebody else's life. It is not always about, oh, I did the hard part, you did not do the hard part, so you start pointing fingers to other people. Napata hiyo story. Na hiyo ni kitu moja ninaitingi out relationship. Na whatever she's saying, umdem hapa hivi, ni that most women will actually stick around you. Wanakuweka kwa ile ideology, they are always there, but they are not adding anything to your life. When you have these emotional things that you are going through, hawezi hadi kumotivate, hawezi kuinspire, hawezi kufanya feel some type of way. Maybe you've taken a loss, then hawezi ku uplift to feel like, oh, you can still go out there and conquer the world. They are just there. Kama ni box, anakusetia box, but she's not really putting in that form of effort yenye anakufanya feel like you are the man. Anaseti tu, bado uko na machungu zako hapo. Bado ndo unagonga hiyo kitu. Nimeanza kuongelea nini hizi wala. Anyway, you get my point, ndio? YouTube thinks you might be interested in the video on your screen at the moment. Click on that video. I'm waiting to see you on the next one.